Ukraine on the
I
ground,
was on the front line.
That's
on
right.
the front, and he chose to do that.
That's right.
Right.
And I remember when he left. I remember when Mark Allen Derry left. He said, "I'm going to Ukraine,"
Yeah, I was just,
and it was like,
you doing what?
"Wait, Doc, what? You know there's a war, right?
Right.
This
You
not
know they
just
fighting
a
over there.
bucket list, right? But again, a man whose career, both of you guys, man, I can just tell you, it is an honor and both humbling to be on your first show.
Absolutely.
Because I know what you guys do, and I know the space it comes from. And I say that to say that that is the same energy that sent Mark Allen to the Ukraine after Ebola that keeps you fighting even in the midst of all your other battles. You keep showing up. You keep showing up for the community. And I know there's a cost. But both of you have proven yourselves willing to both bear that cost and to share it with the community. So, Doc Talk, necessary, and I'm so honored, and we are,
Yes.
to be here on this inaugural show of Doc Talk because we know what y'all gonna do. If y'all don't know, if you've been listening to the front porch for any period of time, you know what they bring. But if you don't know, you're about to find out when Doc Talk starts because we're just here as guests today. But
No.
you gotta trust me.
That's family.
The
Never
level
guess.
we family, and we gonna always be. But I can tell you the future portends very well, not just for us, but for all of you who are listening, because the collective intelligence, passion, wisdom, and the hookups that they have across this industry, you're going to hear people that normally we wouldn't get
Right.
on this station. Let me be honest. These two cats are world class. World class. Dr. Eric Griggs, Dr. Mark Allen Derrick. Slater's coming up. He's not world class.
Right.
He world
he's getting
kindergarten.
Oh, we got
He
Jeremiah
world
Emily
kindergarten. But
waiting.
he coming, and we bringing him along with us. And gentlemen, I just wanted to say thank you, man. I don't have to wish you luck because you don't need it. You're going to be fabulous because it's what you do. We've seen it. Welcome to the Equity Media family on your own platform. Thank you for having us to be here on this inaugural show. Can't wait to voice Slater. Looking
And
forward to
Emily.
it.
And Emily.
And Emily.
And Jeremiah. I'm
Yeah.
doing Slater and Jeremiah. I'm not going to give y'all a preview of the voice because I'm going to have to make you tune in to Noise Filter to get that.
Coming.
Yeah.
But gentlemen, I got to run. I got an appointment. Thank you for this. It has been a pleasure. Again, I don't need to wish you anything except continued success and offer my sincere thanks for having us here today.
Before
Thank
he
you.
runs out of here, I want to say also thank you for listening to the community and the desire and the request that they have to hear more. You know, we normally have around about 30, 40 minutes of information to share to the community, and it's really been the response has been overwhelming. People want to know more, especially right now. We need some trusted sources, and that in and of itself is important. So thank you for answering the call with all of the other calls. Family pulls
Extended
the
family,
two
yeah.
of that pulled the two of you. But thank you for sharing the information because we need it, and our communities can only stay stronger if we have good information.
No,
Thank
that's-
you guys so much.
We're just
Thank you,
humbled
fellas.
It's
with
because
that. Thank y'all.
It's because of the space you guys have given us over the last 6 years that has allowed us to do this. So, I mean, Eric and I were doing stuff beforehand, but we really honed our chops here because of the space, because you've allowed us to speak the way that we speak. You've given us that runway. You've set us up for success, and we're so grateful for
Well,
that.
and I just may add, the biggest thing is I've always been seen here. Seen. Like
Yes.
the days when, first of all, we thought it was crazy. He wouldn't answer the phone when I told him, don't go over there, don't go over there, don't go over there. But then the days when, the hard days, when it was like, no,
Let's go.
Mark Allen, you don't look good. Both of y'all need a break.
Oh, you know.
It's been trying, but here we are here to continue. It's more than a spillover. It's a continuation of the conversation,
Yes.
and we're about educating. Get checked, get fit, get moving. Starts with having conversation with your families about what's in your family.
That's right.
So that's what we plan to bring. We address any and all questions. Just don't be afraid of 3 words. I don't know.
There
Yeah.
you go.
I don't
There
know.
you go. Gentlemen, congratulations.
Thank
you,
Nephew,
guys.
I don't got to run. I'm going
That's
to holler
right.
back at you, all right?
Thank you.
All
All
right.
right,
Thank you.
Sneeder.
Thank you.
A pleasure, gentlemen. All the
Thank you,
best.
guys. All right. We'll see you guys
You
next
hanging out?
Wednesday.
So, MA, we are here.
Yeah, you're right.
So the big question of the day, in all of the accolades and the things that we talk about, it gets lost in translation that not only do you do community work and public health, but you are, by training and trade, an infectious disease doctor.
Right. Yes.
You know I'm going somewhere with this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this morning on Fox 8, my topic was again cyclospora.
Aha.
Ah, yeah.
Yes. The gift, the parasite that keeps giving.
Explosively. And I'm
with
trying
with a bang.
Oh, you bringing that? So I'm trying to avoid the overuse of that word, so it's not.
I
to
know.
scare
I
people, but
never
it's
use
just-
it.
But it's,
I never use it.
When they say explosive diarrhea, that came from the question. Everyone is like, people just don't know what to eat. Right before my segment this morning, they started talking about not eating avocados out of Mexico because of some safety hazard, and it wasn't food necessarily, but I'll have to show you this.
Yeah.
So right now in the community, in the food, there's salmonella,
Salmonella.
cyclospora,
Yep.
listeria,
Yep.
and the
E.
other one-
coli.
and E. coli. What does all that mean? Wash your food. Be careful what you eat. It doesn't mean don't.
Well,
Stay healthy,
I mean,
go
can I-
deep,
can
go
I-
deep,
Yeah,
go
let me
deep.
add an element here. A large portion of the work that Eric and I have been doing over the years, both with our first iteration of Get Check, Get Fit, Get Moving, certainly with the front porch, and then now here we are again on WBOK. And besides the notion of us wanting you to protect yourselves and protect your family, more importantly is to have trusted voices, because now more than ever, we don't have trusted sources that we could once look to kind of get a sense of what's going on. And that's just the sad reality.
That's the sad reality
of the situation.
Selfie, the TikTok,
This
the
is-
AI.
Well, I mean,
and,
also from
and,
the-
and structurally.
And structurally, right, from the federal level,
Yep.
we are not seeing. I mean, one of the things I want to talk about today is that they're going to hold Fauci in contempt of court. One of the
I thought there was a stay on that. They didn't stay.
no, that happened this morning. So it moved out of committee this morning. So they are going to move forward with it. I'm going to cut a video on it
Yep.
later today, and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
But the point that I'm making is that the trusted voices that we did have are now being denigrated, and they're being replaced with misinformation, disinformation, and lies. Quite frankly,
And all information, which is just as dangerous.
right?
The disinformation that we found out hard is just as dangerous because it can be weaponized.
It is being weaponized, 100%.
It's at the expense of our public health, and that's part of the problem. And again, we're gonna get to the description of cyclospora and the way it works. There will be an infographic. We're working on where to post it. We're gonna have a weekly posting of what we talk about and giving the science and the detail of things. But again, even overusing the term explosive diarrhea. I mean, it catches your attention, but that's not it.
No, I mean that's not it. And I just if I could just kind of finish my
Yeah.
previous thought, that I think what is important is that we need to start educating ourselves, and because we don't have those typical trusted voices, I think tuning into something like this, following both Eric and I on social media as well as others.
Yep.
But the point that I'm making is that in the past we had voices that we could turn to and then recognize that to be the truth and move forward, or as close to the truth as possible. That's not there anymore. So what I'm imploring to the community is that you have to empower yourselves now. We have to do that extra work to keep our families safe. So we have to dig a little deeper to make sure the sources that we are seeing are real. Check 2 or 3 sources. Write a note to Eric and I while we're on air, or just put a note to us here, and we'll answer the question the next time we're on air. But we're very accessible. You guys know how to find us on social
Everywhere.
media. So we answer the questions that get posed to us. So the one question I get all the time is cyclospora. What is cyclospora? Cyclospora is a parasite that's transmitted, what is referred to as fecal oral. In other words, it is eliminated through stool, and then it gets reintroduced into the system orally, but not kind of like the way a foodborne illness, a typical foodborne illness does, where like a cook doesn't wash their hands correctly after going to the bathroom and transmits it through food. It's a spore, so hence the name cyclospora. And the reason why it was named cyclospora is that the symptoms occur cyclically.
Cycles.
Right, they occur cyclically or through cycles, and the parasite itself lives as a spore. And parasites are interesting because they have different, what's the word I'm looking?
Stages.
Stages. Thank
Stages,
you.
yeah.
Yeah. They have different stages. So it's not like a bacteria or a parasite that gets into your system and then attacks you right away. It actually has to have various stages it has to go through, and the conditions have to be just right in each one of those stages so that it can move from one stage to the next.
And unfortunately, that happens to be in our once it gets in us in our
Yes,
small intestines.
that is one of the stages.
And because of the inflammatory reaction, your small intestine is where your water is absorbed.
Yes,
It's
yes.
resorbed and absorbed. And because it gets inflamed, it doesn't. So you tend to get the GI symptoms up to 2 weeks later, and it can come out as explosive,
as diarrhea.
I'm gonna stop using that word, right?
Diarrhea.
As diarrhea.
Diarrhea.
But the thing is, we don't want you to think that that's the only symptom. It's all of the other GI symptoms.
Well, it's bloating, it's nausea, and it's just significant discomfort. And the thing about it is that it comes and goes. So just when you think you're getting better, boom,
it's a cycle.
it returns. It's cyclical. The treatment for it is actually an antibiotic. And to remind everybody, antibiotics only work on bacteria,
Usually.
as opposed to parasites. They certainly never work on viruses. But there are rare occurrences where an antibiotic, in this case an antibiotic that's called Bactrim, that has sulfa in it. So for people who have sulfa allergies, please let your physician know.
That doesn't mean that there's not a treatment for you, but you got to let
Right.
and that writes later.
That's right. There. And so the treatment here is an antibiotic. I'm going to let you, is an antibiotic called Bactrim. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, it's an antibiotic called Bactrim. It follows the typical course, Doc. How long is the course? About a 5-day course. And then it typically resolves. The problem is, here's the issue, is the incubation period is 2 to 10 days, right? 2 to 14 days, correct?
Yeah.
So I don't know about you, but I don't know what I ate 2 weeks ago.
And
So
this
all of a
is-
sudden,
This is a huge problem with tracing this organism.
and that's why they're having a problem. It was difficult to find out exactly where the source of this thing was and which farm, where it might have come from.
Well, the other thing too, and I think that's critical to understand this as well, is that prior to this administration, the U.S. had something that worked excellent that was called the Food Surveillance Network, and on this Food Surveillance Network, we were typically, if he's not wanting it,
No, he's good.
he just wants to be held.
Yeah.
So you have daddies here who have real children who are living real lives right now. So you got daddies as well as doctors. In fact, that would be daddies and doctors.
That is the doctors. Doc talking. In real time, real life, and literally.
Daddies and doctors.
Buddy.
Daddies first, then doctors. So the way this works is that because the Food Surveillance Network has been eliminated, they were following typically 7 to 8 organisms that we see all the time.
Now, organisms, he means viruses,
Bugs.
bacteria, or bugs. Or that's what we're
Parasites.
talking about. Parasites,
Right.
yeah.
And so those organisms have now been eliminated down to 2. And Cyclospora was one of those that got eliminated.
Got through the cycle.
Shocker.
Yeah.
And so now we aren't able to follow it like we used to. And so now what we are seeing is an outbreak of Cyclospora. So, I've had several different frames of mind when we first saw this emerge maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little bit maybe hold off on lettuce at this point, but I'm a little less so at this point.
Yeah.
Just because it affects such a minority group of people.
Well, please elaborate on that because everyone's afraid. I was yesterday, Doc. I was going to order a salad, but I'm staying away from lettuce. Please don't stay away.
I mean, right now there have been 2 deaths. So
in Michigan.
Right. So let's talk about the good news. The good news is, as we said, Bactrim 5-day course treats, cures your cyclospora
done.
infection. Done. And today, I don't think any doctor. I would be shocked if any doctor would really collect stool at this point.
Yeah.
If you walked in and said, "I have what kind of diarrhea?"
No, explosive.
If I have diarrhea, I would imagine a doctor is going to give you a 5-day course of Bactrim. So,
But I'm not telling you if you have Bactrim, which you should not have it laying around the house. I'm not telling you if your stomach gets upset to start taking Bactrim. Bactrim is not a typical ding, 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 ding. Bactrim is not a typical treatment for gastrointestinal issues.
Yeah, in fact, it can cause it, but that's a
Yeah,
different.
that's a whole nother- that's another show.
Right, it's another show. So, but let's just be very clear that if you have it, you go to the doctor, you get your Bactrim, you're cured. You are cured of the disease. No one else in your family is going to get the disease as well. It's not transmitted human to human,
Keep going. We're gonna break.
and it's mostly transmitted as a result of irrigation water in the fields.
I don't want. I know we're gonna have to go to break, but I don't want to brush over the fact he said something very important. It's not transmitted human to human, but I still want you to wash your hands. Wash your hands. Wash your nasty hands, of course.
Wash your hands.
And when we come back on the other side of the break, I want you to understand that the call lines are open. Call us at 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. We take any and all questions, and we're going to continue this infectious disease conversation. Doc Talk and get checked, get fit, get moving here with Doc and Doc.
And Slater.
And Slater. Just want you to move. You know how to do that. In New Orleans, we move really well. We hop, we skip, and everybody knows how to just do something.
If someone asks, let them know you listen to WBOK.
Step back into time and experience the moments that shaped our world at the National World War II Museum. This world-renowned museum brings history to life, telling the stories of the American experience in the war that changed the world, why it was fought, how it was won, and what it means today. From immersive exhibits to powerful personal stories, this is more than a museum. Go to nationalww2museum.org and plan your visit today.
This invitation goes out to all of us unworthy sinners who's been saved by the grace of God, where you and I are only made worthy by the blood of the Lamb and our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. We're FIJTC, Faithers in Jesus the Christ. My name is Mr. Rocky. You can tune in to WBOK 12:30 a.m. Sunday mornings from 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Hope to see you there.
Hey, New Orleans, it's Doc Griggs. Tune in every Thursday from 12 to 1 p.m. for Doc Talk and get checked, get fit, get moving. This is Doc Griggs here with the free agents. Trying to encourage you to get out, get checked, get fit, get moving. That's the only way to do it. The only way we know how in New Orleans. We hop, we skip, and we like to do something. It doesn't matter what you do. I just want you to move. You know how to do that. In New Orleans, we move really well. We hop, we skip, and everybody knows how to just do something. Hello and welcome back to Doc Talk. Get checked, get fit, get moving. I'm Doc Griggs and
I'm Dr. Derry.
Doc and Slater, of course.
Little Slater Tots here.
We want to remind everyone that our talk line is now open at 504-582-9422. If you have any health questions, any questions at all, just give us a buzz. Prior to the break, Dr. Derry, Doc, you were going in on cyclospora, and can we eat anything? What is it, and can I pass it to other people?
Right. So just to remind everybody, it is not transmitted human to human. So if you have it in your family, you cannot transmit it to your family. Your family's safe. But as Eric was reminding us prior to break, is that washing your hands is always still critically important. And in fact, one of my tasks today, Eric, is to hang up a sign, neon sign I got made that says "Wash your hands" on it.
Wash it.
And hang on a second. Here's the best part: is that I got that sign for when Liana was in the hospital delivering Slater.
Really?
I put it over her bed, and anytime I'm that passive aggressive.
Some things don't change, y'all.
It's like when anybody walked in, the first thing that I would do is I would hit the remote and the sign just starts flashing. Yeah, please wash your hands. But the thing is, I did
if
say,
y'all can see Slater's face, he's looking at me. I'm like, yeah, dude, he's serious.
He's like,
this is your dad.
Well, he was there. He saw it. But I did ask please. I just want you to know, and I'm going to pull it up real quickly.
Passive aggressive with a please.
Yes.
Wash your nasty hands.
Wash your hands. But I did say please, and the sign was very effective. And you know what? Everybody who walked in that door washed their hands. And they still wash their hands even when they walk into our house now to say hi to Slater, because the sign is prominent and it will continue to be prominent after I put it over our kitchen. Here's what it looked like.
Yeah, so folks, we got to post this so y'all can see the sign.
At the bottom.
I see that bug. That bug looks familiar.
It does.
So-
We spent 4 years dealing with that bug.
So the thing is, so with that, Doc, so that's the other thing people are asking. Like, so, and we talked about it this morning on Fox. It was like, so what can we eat and how should we prepare our food?
Right. I mean, so as we were saying, so there's been about 3,200 cases in a country with over 330 million people.
Yeah.
There have been 2 deaths, unfortunately. They were in Michigan, as Eric had mentioned a second ago. But the thing about them is that they were also people who had other underlying
Yeah,
conditions.
they were immune compromised and they died of
Right.
dehydration.
And they, of course, because that's the way that you would suspect that they do. And I would imagine if I were to make a guess, the most educated guess was that they were either people who are on hemodialysis, who have very tenuous, or in other words,
Fluid balance.
fluid balance is very, very
Delicate.
very delicate. Thank you. And or they probably had advanced heart failure.
So the reason I want you to make the connection, think about this. If the small intestine is where your water is resorbed and absorbed, and it's not resorbing water anymore, you lose more fluid, and that's the danger. Anytime you have an illness that gives you diarrhea, anytime you have an illness that makes you lose extra fluid, you run the risk of dehydrating the body to the point that your blood can't flow and your organs can't function.
Yep. And hence the term that the media, because again, I've been dealing with cyclospora for the entirety of the 30 years of my life, because of my medical life, because people living with advanced HIV, what we used to refer to as AIDS, would get cyclospora. That was not something, that was not an uncommon thing. In other words, I would see it pretty regularly. I've never heard it described as explosive by my patients.
Ugh.
So it is something the media has, and it's one of those things that the media has said and it's latched onto. But the reason for that so-called explosive diarrhea is because of the water that doesn't get reabsorbed in your system, because that's where the parasite takes its effect, and then boom, it flushes through your system pretty aggressively. And we have to protect ourselves because, if you're a pilot,
Yeah.
or flying a plane, or if
driving
you
a
are
bus.
a dancer in the
Yes.
middle of a performance in Carnegie Hall,
Teacher in the middle
or
of a class.
teacher in the middle of class, a firefighter fighting a fire, these are things
Jogger,
where
an exercise, a person walking down the street.
a person on the radio
Holding a
holding a baby. Or behind the glass.
This too can happen, but the thing is, for the majority of people that are healthy, don't run the risk. This is usually not a fatal disease or disease state. But the other thing that I want you to speak to is that this is not new. I don't want people to think that we're in a situation and this cyclospora is something, and now we're worried about another pandemic, epidemic. Cyclospora, there's a season that this happens. It's just usually not in these numbers. Am I right?
That's exactly right. What we are seeing right now, again, is a public policy problem.
Mhm.
Behind every public health issue, there is a public policy story. And in this story here is a story that was neglected, unfortunately. And I'm going to be just brutally honest, as I usually am, and that is we are living in a situation and at a time in which our government right now just is not on our side, and it's imperative for us as a community to protect one another.
And that's the reason that we're doing Doc Talking, to address the questions and educate. Our job is to educate you to be experts in your health and have these healthy conversations in the room when we're not around. And then bring your questions to us and we take them from there. I get back to Doc, the big question is, I get asked, what can I eat? So is it healthier for me to just get fast food? And I don't have to worry about it. I ain't never heard no cyclospora in no Popeyes.
That is a point that I can't argue. And at the very beginning of the cyclospora outbreak, I always laughed at the jokes of people saying, well, it's, I never liked eating salads anyway. You're just driving me to my hamburgers, which is actually,
Not dressed.
But please,
But to
please eat the regular foods that you would eat. Just make sure you wash them very, very well. At this point, I would probably still stay away from the Taylor Farms products.
Farms, that's where it was.
It was Taylor Farms de Mexico, particularly,
Mexico.
and it was shredded cabbage. But when
It was cabbage.
it was lettuce.
It was lettuce.
Iceberg lettuce.
Iceberg lettuce.
Isn't that just get made into
No, cabbage is different. You were thinking about slaw.
Yeah, I'm thinking slaw. So it was iceberg lettuce is what they traced it to, not cabbage, and it was Taylor Farms. in my family, we're just staying away from all. We're just staying. I got it. We're just staying away from all Taylor Farm products at this point.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah. Apparently,
Crying
he's
baby.
very principled against it.
Yes. and we had a baby who responded to that. Here's a burp cloth. Here's daddies and doctors right now. Eric is burping Slater right now.
Yeah.
So continue to eat. Just be smart about the things that you eat. If you do go to Taco Bell, I would stay away from the iceberg lettuce. I'm sure they've already changed their supply chain.
If there's
with
any
that.
question about anything that's healthy, again, freezing does not kill cyclospore, because explain the spore aspect of
it
it.
becomes a spore,
And it
right? And
survives.
a spore, it basically survives. So as of I think this morning, I read that Chipotle also had was it E. coli?
I think it was E. coli.
In jalapenos as well. So we are going to start seeing more of these food supply disruptions as a result of some of these infectious disease epidemics. And this is really something for us to continue to think about.
It just means
as
that,
well. We just have to be careful.
Practically, that means that we just have to be overly conscientious and cautious when we're preparing our food. We want to make sure that we're cooking to the proper temperatures for our meats, that we're washing and doing as best we can. It's like now this cyclospore with the parasite is unique in that, with the spores, you can't wash them up. We do want you to rinse off your food. Do not use chemicals.
Yes, don't
I
use
know,
chemicals.
right.
And even if it says triple washed, continue to wash all your fruits and vegetables.
And of course, wash your hands,
Yes.
wash your hands.
And then also just to talk about raspberries
Yep,
real quick
yep,
as
yep.
well, and berries with lots of crevices as
Blueberries.
well. Well, blueberries are just a solid cover, but the
Dip in the middle.
right. Well, the dip in the middle, that's true. So just make sure your berries, for those of us with kids who enjoy eating berries, just make sure that they're very, very washed as well. But again, right now it is a minority of people that we're seeing. It's still considered an outbreak, because an outbreak is defined as an increase in cases over what the baseline number of cases typically are, which for most states it's 2 to 5 in any 1 year. So the fact that we're up to 3,000 or 3,200 right now, with unfortunately 2 deaths, is certainly defines a outbreak.
And the Michigan Department of Health has said that they won't release any more information. It's just that they were immune compromised. Remember during COVID, we were trying to get people to understand, if you're taking medication, if you go regularly to the doctor, it's compromising your immune system is not as difficult as you think. So a lot of times we walk around thinking that we're not susceptible to other infectious diseases, and we are.
Yeah, we certainly are, and it's not uncommon for states to withhold information. It's part of
Protecting the
HIPAA,
privacy.
but I disagree. I mean, they're not releasing names, social security numbers, phone numbers, or addresses. I just like for example, when we had the case of H5N1
Yep.
death here
That
in
flu,
southwestern,
that was flu.
the influenza. That was the very, very bad bird flu. There was a death. There's been several deaths in the U.S. One of them happened in southwestern Louisiana with a person who picked up a dead bird without any personal protective equipment, and they handled that bird. It was in their backyard, and unfortunately, that person died from it. Now, from a clinical perspective, it would be very nice to know what the clinical context, or what we refer to as the clinical milieu, would be,
Right.
for us to better understand
And protect.
yeah, and also to talk to you as the community as to if you are that person who,
With that condition.
these are things to know. This is why I had to speculate that the people who died were likely the people who had likely hemodialysis or had
Fluid sensitive.
very, very fluid sensitive, like somebody with heart failure as well. So yeah, so I mean, I think that's where we're at with Cyclospore here. I'll grab them. All right, this is daddies and doctors right now.
This is what we do. So with that, as you hear the transfer of Slater from uncle to daddy, who's going to feed him, and I don't think I got all the bubbles out, we are moving into the school year.
Yep.
And now is the time where we tell kids to keep your hands and your bugs to yourself.
And also roll up your sleeves.
And roll up your sleeve and don't share hats. don't share hats. Now's the time, folks, for your kids, especially the things that people don't think about is the change in sleep, the circadian rhythms. Kids have been kind of off schedule for the summer, not able to get those 4 stages, the minimum of 4 stages of sleep, 1, 2, 3, 4. they've been enjoying themselves. And now you're waking them up, breaking up their routines, and it's been quite the same. If they've swam, you have ear infections, sinus infections, vision changes, cavities, all kinds of bugs that come from all over the country into a concentrated classroom. So what kind of things, Doc, as an infectious disease doctor?
Well, before we do the infectious disease thing, I do want to say that Eric does sponsor these, and something that was really, really insightful for me, even though my father was an eye doctor and I grew up with, eye health care very prominent in my life, just seeing the number of children when I was doing the vision examinations for your screenings was so profound to see how many kids did not have any sort of ocular there was no help. They weren't wearing glasses, and when I put them up to the eye screen and screened them, they were unable to see. And this is a very low barrier
screening.
Screening to get to assist your child for success. Because if they could just see in the classroom, especially I use your example. If your last name is Washington and you're in the back of the class, right, and you're not going to be able to see what they're doing in the front of the board.
And you have to think of because kids are able to sleep more in the summer, a lot of times there's a theory out there that's when they grow. The funny thing is all the cells in your body grow. So your vision changes over time. So those glasses or those that didn't need glasses might suddenly need glasses, and you go from an A student to even a C student to sometimes just failing because what do kids typically do? I know what I did when I just didn't want to be bothered, had a headache or whatever. I just put my head down. Then all of a sudden, you have to worry about your kid being labeled a behavior issue when it's not. So, and what he's referring to, and you'll see it hopefully in the coming weeks, I plan to do it. I typically try to get it done within the first quarter, if not right after, where we do it's a head screening. We test kids we screen for cavities because in the summer, eat the candies and the sweet stuff when mom and dad aren't around. We screen for ear infections. Ear infections lead to headaches. Sinus infections lead to headaches. And then, of course, the vision screenings. Those things that can stop kids from being their best, doing their job as we send them to school to do their best. And that's what those screenings are about. Now, this is on top of the bugs that might happen and the fact that I know a lot of us have taken a break, it seems, for the summer with our sinuses. The air gets humid. A lot of the danders and the pollens that would irritate us because of the humidity, we don't experience them. Then all of a sudden, the moment the weather person says it's fall, it's like my allergies turn on cue. Boom, cue the mucus, cue the tears, cue the sneezing. Here come the waterworks. So it's about that time. So if you're on a regular medication for allergies, the common ones you know about, the antihistamines, the Zyrtex, what's the other one? Allegras. Start taking them now. Start taking them now to prepare so your sinuses won't be inflamed and they can be more effective.
I also will say probably one of the most, there's two medicines in the Dairy Elliott household. One is Nasonex or Flonase.
Yes.
That is so important. This is a nasal steroid. And anytime you have a stuffy or runny nose or postnasal drip, just a couple squirts of that, you'll find those in the pharmacy. One of them, I forget which, if it's Flonase or Nasonex, that is a over-the-counter. The other one is prescription. The others with the postnasal drip, that oftentimes leads to a cough. So the second medicine that is important in the Dairy Elliott household is benzenate, or also called Tessalon pearls.
So here's the thing.
Never sit on a cough. The more you cough, the more you cough.
The more you cough, it starts a vicious cycle.
Cough begets cough.
That post-nasal drip is when you say you can't stop swallowing and you just trying to clear your throat. Post means behind, nasal means your nose. That's where the mucus, when it drops down on your throat, gets into your chest, gets into your lungs, and causes the cough.
Yes, indeed. And that cough, never sit on a cough. Never, never, never sit on a cough. A cough very rarely ever goes away by itself, especially as the cough starts to be prolonged and it's lasting days. Now it's lasting weeks. It's keeping you up at night. You have to break that cycle of cough. Cough begets cough. The more you cough, the more you cough. So it's super important. How do you do it? Any of the over-the-counter medicines will work. There's no that one that's better, but definitely you have to take it around the clock. That's the way these medications work. It only helps when you take it around the clock. And so, again, at the Dairy household, we like the Tessalon pearls. That is something that you need to get as a prescription from your physician. But Yeah, it's a prescription you need from your physician. As an aside, there was a funny meme that was going around during World Cup. Did you see it? It was like a wife was videoing her husband. He was standing with the baby,
Yeah.
and he was watching World Cup, and the you could see the bottle just drift
Yeah.
upward,
Yeah.
and finally it landed on his head, and he was just. Father was just watching World Cup while he was just basically had the bottle and the nipple on the forehead of the baby.
Folks, yeah, for y'all that couldn't see, we just had a World Cup moment.
Right.
We were sitting there talking, then all of a sudden Slater was gnawing on the nipple. Like, over.
And
over.
Eric was like, move it over. And by World Cup moment, I was not Messi and I did not score a goal. If anything, I scored a goal against
Ding,
my
ding,
own
ding.
team. Yeah, that's right.
But Doc, let's take them down the path of, it's important to start thinking now about that postnasal drip and that cough. How can it lead? We hear the term pneumonia.
Yeah.
How does that lead if untreated, if not properly treated? How does it walk down that path?
Yeah, so especially with people who are long-term smokers or people who have underlying lung or pulmonary problems, there are parts of your lungs that are oftentimes damaged. The natural protective elements aren't there anymore because of the smoking.
You have these things called cilia, and they start to they beat to help push the stuff
right.
out.
They're
And
little
that's what's-
hairs. They're
yeah.
little hairs,
and it makes the mucus come up. That's the when they say productive cost, that means mucus comes up, and that protects you. And now we go
Right.
back to the ones that don't. When it doesn't work,
And when it doesn't work, what happens is that sometimes that mucus or whatever, once it sits in the lungs, and bacteria are everywhere. We're sitting in a room. Not that there's anything wrong with this BOK room. It could happen in your car. It could happen in an elevator or in the bank lobby room. But there's bacteria everywhere.
just like in your gut, we say there's healthy bacteria, and there's bacteria you just get used to.
And the bacteria that you're breathing, 99.999% of the time, your body has protective elements.
It's called an immune system.
Right, that protects it from happening. That is, as a mammal, as mammals, we have succeeded greatly. I think I may need to change him. As mammals, we've succeeded greatly in having an immune system that allows us to succeed and be productive on Earth because all of these microorganisms don't invade our systems and cause problems unless we have a problem with our immune system.
So we got to do it. I know we got a break coming up soon, but can you give them? We wouldn't be us if Mark Allen didn't have a cool story. Can you go to the discovery of antibiotics and penicillin? Can you tell us story?
Speaking of things that float around, he was a Scottish man, Alexander Fleming.
Wow.
He was Scottish. I got him right now. He was a microbiologist, and he was plating. He was just looking at bacteria. He was plating his bacteria, and he, in those days there was no AC, there was no HVAC, there was no nothing, and so windows
right.
in labs, which was crazy to think about.
Window in a lab.
Windows in labs were kept open, and this one he plated his plates, and he left one plate open
Is
accidentally.
this like an agar plate, like an experiment, y'all? Like when they have the medium where they grow things.
When we
on
say
it.
plated,
Yeah.
it wasn't like he didn't
Not
like
for Thanksgiving.
have like some tofu with rice
right,
and he put some nice sauce over it.
No.
Not that plated.
A microscopic agar where they grow things to.
Yeah, like you've seen the little petri dish.
Petri dish, there it is.
That's the word. We're looking for petri dish.
Yeah.
So he had a petri dish, and that's what I refer to as plated. And he plated his petri dish with bacteria. He left it on a windowsill open. He didn't
Open?
cover it, and he left the window open. And the next day he walked in and he thought to himself, what have I done?
Right.
Like, what have I done here? And he noticed all the other plates had bacteria on it. That plate did not have bacteria on it. And the reason was because a penicillin fungus landed on that plate, and it killed all the bacteria. And that was the discovery of antibiotics.
Dun, dun, dun. And with that, folks, we're going to go to break. We're Doc Talking here. Get checked, get fit, get moving with Doc and Doc. That's right. And Slater.
Daddies and doctors.
See y'all in a few minutes. Doc Graves here with the free agents. Trying to encourage you to get out, get checked, get fit, get moving. There's only one way to do it. The only way we know how in New Orleans. We hot, we skip, and we like to do something. It doesn't matter what you do. I just want you to move. I think you know how to do that. In New Orleans, we move really well. We hot, we skip, and everybody knows how to just do something.
Uptown, downtown. Wherever you are, keep it locked in to WBOK.
This is Doc Graves here with the free agents. Trying to encourage you to get out, get checked, get fit, get moving. That's the only way to do it. The only way we know how in New Orleans. We hot.
Hello and happy Thursday. Welcome back to Doc Talkin. Get checked, get fit, get moving with Doc and Doc.
Hello, hello.
Daddies and Doc.
Daddies and doctors. Daddies and doctors. That's who we are.
This is our inaugural show. We were gracefully handed off by our family from the front porch, Kemba and Graylin, and we've just been talking. Slater's been in the house, rocking and rolling. We've talked about cyclospora, what to eat, what not to eat, how to eat, the history of it. We evolved to the school vaccinations we didn't talk much about, but we talked about prepping for school, what to expect in kids. And then, of course, we wouldn't be us if we didn't have Mark Allen, Dr. Derry, giving us a history of antibiotics and illnesses, respiratory illnesses. And our show is real. We feed babies, we burp babies, we put babies to sleep, and we have questions in real time coming from the other side.
Yes. I was very intrigued by this last conversation.
Excuse me, non-caller, voice of the speaker. Can you introduce yourself, please? Thank you.
Oh, hi. Yeah, this is Nyron calling in. Thank you for taking my call. But yeah, I had a question. Just on the break, I had to come in. I just coughed, and y'all said it was mucus. I didn't know what it was, but it just came out on my arm.
Now you looked on your arm like it was snot. Like, what is this?
Because it was white.
Yeah.
So that was my concern was. I just wanted to make sure everything was okay with me. And it has been paired with headaches as well. Sometimes I have had sinus problems in the past. So I'm trying to see how that all correlates.
So can I start with the headache and let you take it from there? Just the explanation of that. You said headaches, and then we're going to let Doc do his thing.
All right.
Think about this. You know your sinus cavity, right? And you have tissue in here. When bugs get into your sinus cavity, blood has to get there, right, to help fight and protect it. In order to do that, things swell, right? As things swell, they press on the nerve endings inside your brain, inside your skull, not inside your brain, inside your skull, and that can be the headache, and it can be coupled with other symptoms. Doc?
Yeah, and the whiteness of your sputum. A lot of people will come to me and talk to me about the color of their sputum. There has been some. I think it's a loose association that green sputum may be associated with something called pseudomonas.
That was back from the grandmas, but they would say if it's colored.
So if it has a color, people will always try to come to me and tell me that they've had fever and their sputum is green, and therefore there must be something that's wrong. And typically there isn't. The fever is not something that it's what we refer to as a subjective fever. They think they have a fever, but they don't. Mm-hmm. And the green sputum, the color of the sputum can
sometimes. What about brown?
If it's red,
yeah, there we go.
If it's red, that's very problematic.
And brown.
If it's brown, it's typically associated with tobacco.
Yep.
If it's white, it's just typically that's just your body working and making weird body fluids that we would rather not think about. And in your case, just brush it away as long as you don't have any shortness of breath or anything that goes with it. But like
when you ask him something serious though, like you said, the chest pain. That's important for people to know, right?
Yeah. Because the chest pain can be indicative of a lot of different issues. So if you have a deep breath in and you have some pain, that is called pleuritic chest pain or pleurisy. And that pleuritic chest pain is indicative of underlying pulmonary or lung pathology. In other words, that there's a problem there. So if you do ever have like where you take a deep breath in and you feel like it hurts or it pinches and it continues, sometimes it can be transient. You could have it a couple breaths and then it goes away. Mm-hmm. But if it's something that's persistent, that is certainly something that is definitely worth looking into and following up with.
And now, and the reason that the first question that we ask you is, do you smoke, is because imagine this, smoking gets sticky, and those cells that we talk about to help, nothing is supposed to go in there but air. And as bugs grow and water gets into the cilia, help beat it out. Smoking gums up the works. So the cilia don't work to help beat things out. And that's when you start making a petri dish and things can grow. And that's when you can get infected. Bacteria, viruses, fungi, typically not parasites, but I'm with an infectious disease.
Well, the parasites come from inside. So they infect the lungs from the inside. Strongyloides is what that one is called.
And so, as not to get gross now, and you can understand why when I first met him, this dude said he was infectious disease. I'm like, this dude's a weird bug guy. He's one of those dudes in my class that would do this stuff. And then he starts telling all
Oh,
these.
hold on. To be clear, Eric, the reason why you went into medicine was because of an infectious disease doctor.
Well, it was because of the infectious disease doctor that I got to meet, and it almost didn't happen for exactly the same reason, the exact opposite reason with the penicillin. When I first decided I was going to medicine, they put me in a lab working with then Christine and vinblastine, early chemotherapy drugs with breast cancer cells of mice. Well, it was boring. It was horrible. Like, I'm like, this is not, where are people at? What is this? Right. So this dude named Mike, I think it was his name, he put me in charge of I had this pipette and I had to put him on the Petri dishes and you have to put him in this incubator, right? Well, I started on this is like a Thursday, might have been my first day, Friday. Well, apparently when you close the door on an incubator, it has a seal like a refrigerator, right? And when you close that door, you're supposed to make sure it's closed and then lock it.
Oh, you pulled an Alexander Fleming?
Oh, well,
you left the door open?
I pulled an Eric Griggs because I went boom, and I just slammed it and didn't even bother to lock it. I killed like 3 years worth of work over the weekend.
Oh, wow.
And you are the reason why they don't take interns in that lab now, right?
I was 16. That's right.
You're the reason they don't take teenagers in that lab now.
I think her name was Wallen. I think it was. Oh, I got chewed out. Whoa, wow. And it was just like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Do you want to be a doctor? No, not this kind. Not this kind. But that's the sensitive nature and the nature of of research and medicine. That's why we are. I hope, did that help with your question?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Anything
yes,
else? What do you do to make it feel better, typically?
Rest, water. That's pretty much it.
Man, what's the name of this show? You supposed to say get checked, get fit. We're going to get better.
Get checked, get fit.
Get checked,
and I get moving.
Yeah. So, Emma, you wanted to, we got about.
Well, we have a couple minutes. I just want to say, just to carry on the back to school, there are some low barrier screenings. It's really important. I think eye exams and teeth exams are so important, but also vaccination. So please make sure your children get caught up on their vaccines as well. These three things will set your children up for success in terms of school and in life as well.
So I know I'm stepping on a landmine in a sense here, but I got to do it. We can't, well, here it goes. Watch this. Go. Watch. It's not going to be explosive diarrhea, but it's going to be explosive with Mark Allen. Watch this. Relate what you just said to the current measles outbreak and what's going on.
Right.
Here we go.
I mean, in New Orleans, we have really great coverage, but all over the country, we are seeing declining vaccination rates. Now, part of that declining vaccination rates that we are seeing was as a result of COVID. People were missing their regular immunization schedules. So please make sure you do get caught up with your pediatrician in terms of making sure that they're on their vaccine schedules. We have to also be very clear. There is, and I am very sensitive to it. There is a lot of misinformation and disinformation that's out there. That is, remember, it's intended to scare you. These are not people that are coming at you, sincerely. Mm-hmm. They're not coming at you, because they really care about you and your family. They truly do, and I really do believe this. And I don't think I'm being a conspiracy theorist. I think that they are trying to cause harm. It's like the Jenga blocks that I talk about every time I'm on here. Each Jenga pillar is a notion of our society, and what they're trying to do is remove the blocks that keep up the public health pillar. So the measles vaccination rates have gone down. In the rest of Louisiana, in New Orleans, we do well because we do believe in vaccinations here. But protect your children from measles. This is not an innocuous disease. In other words, it's not something you want your child to get.
One of the most infectious diseases on the planet. What's the R naught?
The R naught. It's 18 to 18.
R naught. Here, you guys.
Here
see?
it is. R.
What is
Eric? R naught. What's an R naught?
The number of people that would be infected by one person. If we're in an elevator with 20 people and I sneeze,
18 people would get the measles.
And it lingers in the air for how long?
2 hours. Oh, yeah. So you could walk into an elevator.
I can't believe I did that.
And the person who had that measles in there long since left. Remember the issues with measles is remember it's cough, coryza, and conjunctivitis.
Conjunctivitis.
The eyes. So it's cough. So it's eye. So it's It's your eye watering.
Uh-huh.
Coryza is another way of saying like mucous membranes are inflamed, snotty nose, and coughing. So you are now a measles spreading machine
everywhere.
Because you've got it coming from your eyes, it's coming from your nose, and you're coughing.
You're breathing it out. You're expelling it out, and you're crying, sharing it.
Right. So please, when you go to your pediatrician, talk to them about using the old CDC vaccination schedule, not the new CDC vaccination schedule. And if you're afraid of the vaccines, please recognize there are a number of other reasons we are seeing issues that people are linking to vaccines. I tell this story all the time. There's a very famous vaccinologist. He actually invented the rotavirus vaccines, a pediatrician. He had a vaccine clinic with his wife. His wife is a nurse. She was doing the vaccines, and he was just getting ready. It was a Saturday afternoon. He was just getting ready to vaccinate a 2-year-old child. He was sitting in mom's lap. Dr. Offit was just about to do the vaccine, and all of a sudden that child had a seizure.
Wow.
Before getting the vaccine, he had a seizure. Prior to, as Dr. Offit was walking up to the child who was about to get vaccinated, the child had a seizure that uncovered a new diagnosis of epilepsy. The child did well, sent to the ER, whatever.
But he wasn't vaccinated. He wasn't vaccinated.
But had Dr. Offit done that vaccine 2 minutes earlier, in the mom's mind, what do you think that mom would have forever said?
Absolutely.
Forever would have said that vaccine causes that epilepsy, or that seizure. So that talks to you about clinical trials, and maybe talk about, you've had many years, decades of work with clinical trials. Maybe let's wrap up with that, and why clinical trials are important. How one person's experience, sitting in a doctor's office whose child had a seizure, is not a result of a vaccine, and why we need many numbers, thousands of people.
Thousands and thousands, and we saw it, and that's what made us that made the whole COVID experience amazing, because as you can remember at the very beginning, I was not doing any of it because I didn't know that it went that fast. Typically, it takes years and years and decades for something to be declared safe for the general public, and that's what's happened with these vaccines. Again, we have 1 minute left. Doc, I want to give people something to go with. I told y'all that was explosive, Dr. Derry. You're Naren, I told you. Of course, as always, I like to say get checked, get fit, get moving. But
and get vaccinated.
And
wash your hands. Remember, we used to do
this. Wash your hands.
And we used to get fit, get fit, get moving, get vaccinated, wash your hands. And there was one more.
Hands. And that's one of the biggest things you can tell your kids to school. Practice the ABC song. Did y'all know that the ABC song is the same as Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star?
Yeah, it's
the exact same song.
Liana, actually, we were playing it on the glockenspiel for Slater, and I was doing A, B, C, D, and then Liana in the background was singing Twinkle, Twinkle, and I stopped it. Literally, I was 58 years old last week when it occurred to me that Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star is the same song as ABC. So there's the wisdom we're going to leave you on. Daddies and doctors.
Daddies and doctors and Slater 2. Daddies and doctors and Slater 2. Thank y'all for giving us an hour. Understand we're here for you. Doc and Doc, get checked, get fit, get moving. Doc talking.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Come on.